So the next metabolic reactions, which are again involved in phase 1 type of metabolism, this we are going to discuss. Now we have already discussed what will be the phase 1 and what will be the phase 2. Phase 1 will going to yield a polar water soluble metabolite from the oxidation with a very common and very important enzyme, that is cytochrome P450. Basically, the type of reaction happening in the case of phase 1 reaction is hydroxylation, reduction, and hydrolysis. And in the case of phase 2, majority of the case reactions, they are proceeding with the phase 2 metabolism are methylation, conjugation type of reaction, that are glucuronide conjugation, acetylation, and sulfonation. Now, the further metabolic reactions which we are going to cover are, which already we have discussed the phase 1 metabolism. In that we have discussed up till now, we have covered with oxidative reactions of if the aromatic moiety is present in the drug molecule, then the aromatic moiety is a aromatic hydroxidation, that is hydroxylation. How it is happening, this we have discussed. Then we have discussed how the if the olefin type of carbon atoms are present, then what type of aromatic oxidation, then benzylic allylic carbons, then aliphatic alicyclic carbons if the carbon is involved in the heteroatomic system, and aromatic ring associated with aldehydes and ketone type of carbon atom. So this all we have discussed. Now the next type of phase 1 reaction is reductive reaction. So this is oxidation. Under oxidation, so many ring or so many organic derivatives in the drug molecule are oxidized. Generally, majority of the drugs मध्ये या टाइपच्या rings present असतात आणि त्या all टाइपच्या ringsचं metabolism how it is happening with an oxidant, that is hydroxylation. Now the next type of phase 1 non-systemic functionalization reaction. Why functionalization reaction? Because we are going to modify the functional group. So type reaction मध्ये which type of functional groups are coming? Aldehyde and ketone, nitro and azo compounds, and generally cases, that is miscellaneous reduction reaction. And the last type of reactions involved in the phase 1 is hydrolytic and esters of amides, hydration of epoxides and arene oxides by the oxidation of hydrolytes. So this we have already discussed with respect to the phase 1. Now we are going to proceed further for the, now what is remaining from the phase 1 metabolism? Phase 1 oxidative reaction मध्ये काय remaining आहे? So oxidation of carbon atom, which is alpha to the carbonyl functional group and amine. आतापर्यंतचे आपण जे काही ऑक्सिडेशन्स बघितले त्या टाइप मध्ये आपण काय बघितलं? aromatic moiety असेल तर जनरली कसं ऑक्सिडेशन होतं? ओलेफिन टाइप असेल तर, then benzylic and allylic we have also seen. Now the next type of oxidation reaction in which अशा कार्बन atoms oxidation की जो which is attached to the alpha to the carbonyl and amine. See, we have seen the oxidation of this type of rings when the benzene or aromatic ring is attached to the electron withdrawing groups. Then we have seen the oxidation of aromatic ring when it is attached to the electron donating group. Now we are going to discuss the oxidation of such a type of carbon. कुठल्या टाइपच्या कार्बनचं आपल्याला ऑक्सिडेशन बघायचं आहे की जो कार्बन atom which is attached or which is alpha to the carbonyl or imine functional group. That means we have seen the oxidation of this type of ring, we have seen the oxidation of this type of ring. म्हणजेच if we are going to study the metabolism of diazepam molecule, which is used as sedative and hypnotic, it is metabolized through various ways. या टाईपच्या रिंगचं मेटाबॉलिझम वेगळ्या पद्धतीनं होत आहे. नाउ द रिमेनिंग रिंग इज मेटाबोलाइज्ड इन डिफरंट वे and the metabolism of this carbon atom, because this carbon atom is alpha to the carbonyl functional group and imine group. That's why it is metabolized by same oxidation only, but the pathway or the process is different for the metabolism of this type of functional group. Now the mixed functional oxidate system also oxidizes carbon atom which is adjacent to the carbonyl functional group and imino functionalities. Now such a type of molecules which we are going to oxidize by this phase 1 mechanism is an important class of drugs of this type of oxidation. So now the oxidation of diazepam molecule, which is used for the treatment of epilepsy also, for the severe case, that is status epilepticus, can be treated with a diazepam, but the major class of this type of molecule is sedative and hypnotic, and such type of molecules are oxidized by phase 1 mechanism by N-methyl oxazepam or 3-hydroxyoxazepam. So अशा टाईपच्या अल्फा कार्बन ॲटमचं ऑक्सिडेशन पण हायड्रॉक्सिलेशन मेकॅनिझमनच होत आहे. बट so in this way this type of oxidation is done in the case of such type of molecules. Now further process of oxidation of diazepam molecule will be followed by N-demethylation of diazepam molecule in phase 1 reaction to form a very important metabolite. At the diazepam molecule as such it is inactive, but already we have discussed in the slide number 1 only, different type of enzymes will act on the drug molecule. So type of enzymes we have discussed at that time, A, B, C, D are the types of enzymes. A will convert the drug molecule into active, B will convert into inactive, C will convert into an toxic molecule, and D will convert into an something else. So similarly, if this type of phase 1 metabolic reaction, if it is done with the diazepam molecules, it will convert the drug molecule into an what type of metabolite? An active metabolite, that is oxazepam, after phase 1 oxidation reaction. Now the next type of oxidation reaction is oxidation at aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atoms. So for the discussion of this type of drug molecule, we have taken an example of drug molecule, that is valproic acid, which is also again used for the treatment of psychological disorder. So the alkyl or aliphatic carbon centers are subject to the mixed function oxidases. Such type of carbons which are going to have the aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atoms, या पद्धतीच्या कार्बन ॲटमचं ऑक्सिडेशन कशा पद्धतीने केलं जात आहे? By mixed function oxidases system. Now what happened in this case? So the metabolic oxidation at terminal methyl group, see this terminal methyl group is referred as omega oxidation. See, we have seen the oxidation types of lipid molecules when we have discussed the biochemistry. So that time we have discussed alpha oxidation, beta oxidation, omega oxidation. आता या ओमेगा ऑक्सिडेशनचं मीनिंग काय आहे? ज्यावेळी ऑक्सिडेशन ऑफ टर्मिनल कार्बन ॲटमचं केलं जातं डायरेक्ट. सी, फर्स्ट ऑक्सिडेशन पहिल्यांदा कुणाचं स्टार्ट होत आहे? तर या मिथाइल फंक्शनल ग्रुपचं होत आहे. म्हणून such type of oxidation reactions are known as omega oxidation, and oxidation of phenylate carbon atom is referred as omega 1 oxidation, because the oxidation will be takes place at this terminal carbon atom. And such a type of aliphatic and alicyclic oxidation in the case of phase 1 reaction is known as omega oxidation. So अशा पद्धतीने मेटाबोलाइज होणारा Which type of drug molecule it is there? It is valproic acid, की जो एकतर ओमेगा ऑक्सिडेशन ने किंवा ओमेगा 1 ऑक्सिडेशन ने प्रोसीड होतो. ज्यावेळी ऑक्सिडेशन या टर्मिनल कार्बन ॲटमचं होतं त्याला ओमेगा ऑक्सिडेशन म्हणतात आणि टर्मिनल कार्बन ॲटमच्या शेजारच्या कार्बन ॲटमचं और द नेबरिंग कार्बन ॲटमचं ज्यावेळी ऑक्सिडेशन होतं then it is called as omega 1 oxidation. Have you understood the difference between these two? See, omega oxidation is nothing but टर्मिनल कार्बन ॲटमचं अलिफॅटिक कंपाऊंड मध्ये टर्मिनल कार्बन ॲटमचं ज्यावेळी ऑक्सिडेशन होतं त्या टाइपच्या ऑक्सिडेशनला कसलं ऑक्सिडेशन म्हणतात? ओमेगा ऑक्सिडेशन. Because in the first case of omega oxidation, this terminal carbon atom is metabolized to convert the valproic acid into an 5-hydroxy valproic acid. So as terminal carbon atom शेवटचा कार्बन atom oxidize होतोय म्हणून याला काय म्हणलं जातं? Omega oxidation. And when the neighboring carbon atom of terminal carbon atom is oxidized, then it is known as omega 1 oxidation. Now the next step is oxidation at aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atom. Second case, when the terminal carbon atom is oxidized. First we have taken an example of valproic acid. So second example is amobarbital, which is also used as a sedative and hypnotic drug molecule. Sedative and hypnotic म्हणजे sleep induce करण्यासाठी किंवा एखाद्या पेशंटला सायकॉटिक जर सिच्युएशन असेल तर त्यांना काम डाऊन करण्यासाठी दिस टाइप ऑफ ड्रग मॉलिक्युल्स आर यूज फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट. आणि त्यांचं मेटाबॉलिझम आपण शिकतोय कशा पद्धतीने ते ऍक्टिव्ह मेटाबोलाइट मध्ये कन्वर्ट केले जातात आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये. सो such type of example is second case aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atoms. So when alkyl or aliphatic carbon centers are subject for mixed function oxidases, that time when amobarbital is placed or it is going for a type of oxidation that is omega 1 oxidation. So it will convert the amobarbital into 3-DOS hydroxy amobarbital. Now the next case of oxidation is oxidation at same situation, but the example is different. It is acetohexamine. The cyclohexyl group is found in many of the drug molecules. See, this is cyclohexyl group is present in glucose also. So many starch molecules, this cyclohexyl group is also present. So cyclohexyl group is commonly present in many of the drug molecule, and it is also placed for, it is also going for what type of oxidation? Mixed function oxidases, that is alicyclic hydroxylation. So what happened with this type of drug molecules? The enzymatic introduction of hydroxyl functional group into the mono-substituted cyclohexene ring will be done generally at carbon number 3 and carbon number 4, and which will leads into the change in the conformation of this drug molecule, that is acetohexamine. See, याचं पण मेटाबॉलिझम होतोय, the type is same, that is phase 1 oxidation, but when the metabolism of drug molecules containing cyclohexyl ring, अशा टाइपच्या ड्रग मॉलिक्यूलचं मेटाबॉलिझम which will contain the presence of cyclohexyl ring in its structure, they are metabolized by this type of oxidation. Which type? Phase 1 oxidation of aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atom. And in that case, the cyclohexane ring of such type of drug molecule is metabolized by introduction of mono-substitution of hydroxyl functional group, generally at 3 to 4 position. And if we are going to introduce this hydroxyl functional group at carbon number 3 or carbon number 4, it will convert or it will change the stereochemistry of this structure into cis and trans conformational isomers. Then The next example of same aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atom is, in this case also, the cyclohexyl ring is metabolite to this position to convert the glipizide drug into trans 4-hydroxyglipizide, which is the major metabolite. Now, oxidation at aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atom. So in this case, the cyclohexane ring of this glipizide is metabolized by introduction of hydroxyl functional group to this position, which I have showed in the pink color. So this is also by introduction of hydroxyl functional group at carbon number 3 or carbon number 4, which leads to the cis and trans conformational isomers. Now the next metabolism reaction is involving presence of heteroatom in its structure. So up till now we have covered the oxidation of aromatic moieties, oxidation of olefins, oxidation of such aromatic rings which will involve benzylic carbon atom, alicyclic carbon atom, or the carbon atoms which are alpha to the carbonyl as well as imine groups. Now only we have discussed the oxidation of aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atoms. So in that we have discussed the examples of uh, valproic acid, example of amobarbital, and now we are discussing the oxidation of a carbon atom which is going to involve the presence of heteroatom in its structure. Now, so where we are now, the oxidation of phase 1 oxidation of drug molecules involving carbon heteroatom system. Now, the imipramine is the drug molecule which is used as an antidepressant. See, generally सगळ्या टाइपचे ड्रग की जे सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टीम वरती अफेक्ट होत आहेत किंवा सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टीमच्या ट्रीटमेंट मध्ये वापरतायत ते सगळे जनरली कुठल्या टाइपच्या मेटाबॉलिझम रिएक्शन मध्ये इन्व्हॉल्व होत आहेत इन दी phase 1 type of metabolic reaction. Now we are discussing the example of metabolism of drug which will involve carbon heteroatom system. Now carbon heteroatom system means what? Presence of heteroatom in the ring. So the example of such type of drug molecule is imipramine, used as a for the treatment of central nervous system problem. Now the tertiary amine imipramine is mono-demethylated to dismethyl imipramine. So there is a removal of out of these two one methyl group from imipramine and convert them into an decimethyl imipramine. So the hydrogen atom is substituted instead of a methyl group. So convert the imipramine molecule into dismethyl imipramine. Such type of metabolic reaction will be covered under the metabolism involving carbon and heteroatom system. Now the next drug molecule which is also metabolized in the same way is benzheptamine, convert the tertiary aliphatic and alicyclic amines. So here there is also dismethylation reaction for the removal of methyl functional group and convert them into an 1-phenyl propane 2-amine as an active metabolite. Now the next conversion is oxidation involving carbon heteroatom system, that is carbon and nitrogen. See, here we have seen carbon nitrogen heteroatom. First, the ring member is 6 to 7. Now we are discussing the carbon heteroatom, that is carbon nitrogen atom heterosystem. Secondary amines are susceptible for N-dealkylation. एखाद्या ड्रग मॉलिक्यूल मध्ये this type of secondary amines are susceptible for N-dealkylation, oxidative deamination, and N-oxide reaction. So the propanolol is demethylated through carbinolamine to corresponding primary amine and its metabolite. So the propanolol is the beta blocker drug which is used and it is metabolized in our body by conversion into an carbinolamine, and this carbinolamine drug molecule further metabolized to give D-isopropyl propanolol by removal of both the methyl functional groups as a primary amine metabolite. Second example of same system is here in the cases primary amine is involved, see here NH2. Now here in this case is secondary amine is involved, that is primary amine metabolite formed from de-alkylation are susceptible to oxidation, deamination. So the example of such type of drug molecule is methamphetamine, will be removal its methyl functional group and converted into an amphetamine. This amphetamine is further converted into deamination reaction by removal of amine functional group in the form of ammonia and convert them into an phenyl acetone. Next oxidative reaction is oxidation involving carbon nitrogen heteroatom, but carbon nitrogen heteroatom with respect to the aromatic ring. In earlier case, we have discussed phase 1 and phase 2, but only with the presence of aromatic. Now here we are discussing the oxidation of aromatic amines, that is aniline, how the aniline is oxidized in our body, converted into an hydroxylamine and nitroso compounds. Now, an oxidation of nitrogen atom present in the aromatic heterocycle of many drugs occurs to the major extent. So there is conversion of, or there is formation of N-oxide metabolite of metronidazole at this nitrogen atom is done to convert the metronidazole molecule into its active metabolite. See what we have discussed today. We have discussed the oxidation of large cases of drug molecules when presence of alpha carbonyl atom is there, presence of alicyclic carbon atom is there, presence of aliphatic and alicyclic carbon atoms, presence of alicyclic ring, presence of heteroatoms, and so many cases.